Would you like to make something that everyone will love? Well, I'm going to teach you how to make a cheesecake that'll be perfect. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, everyone will be asking for you to make more and more. It's not too expensive to make, especially once you figure out what ingredients you're going to need. You can buy the off value, anything like that, Target brand, Walmart brand. You're going to need a springform pan, which you probably don't have. It's just a simple pan where the bottom comes out and it'll go back in. And this way, when you're finished, all you have is this and you can easily cut it. And that's maybe $10. You're going to need a pan. This is my secret. You'll put this in the water bath and that'll make it cook perfectly. For the crust, you're going to need graham crackers, ground cinnamon, and margarine. For the filling, you're going to need sugar. You'll need plenty of cream cheese. You'll need some sour cream, eggs, and just a little bit of vanilla. Now what we're going to start by doing is placing our springform pan in some tin foil. And what this does is when you have the water bath, it keeps any of the water from seeping in any of the cracks in your springform pan. And I'm going to pour some water into this pan so that my cheesecake pan will fit nicely in there, won't be squished, anything like that. So I'm going to pour just maybe a ½ inch of water. You don't want it to cover too much because it will leak into your pan. So that's just about enough. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, and I have the oven set. It's preheating to 475 degrees. We're now ready to make our crust for our cheesecake. What we're going to need is 1½ cups of graham crackers. It's going to be graham cracker crumbs. You can either buy whole graham crackers and crush them up yourself if you want to get some anger out by pounding on those, or you can even buy them in a box where they're already crushed up, and that makes it a lot faster and easier. So that's what I did. I bought a box of crushed graham crackers. So 1½ cups of that. You'll need 1/3 cup of melted butter or margarine, whichever you prefer. It doesn't change the taste of it. And you'll also need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. This adds a little bit of extra flavor to that. You'll stir all of that together. You want to make sure it's all nicely mixed together because this is going to be your crust. And it'll be kind of clumpy, but if you just kind of squish it around and continue to work with it, it'll eventually get to the consistency that you really need for it to be. Now once you have your crust ingredients all mixed together in a nice consistency, we're going to pour them into our springform pan. You want to just kind of put it around evenly. You don't have to worry about it too much because we're going to squish it down so that it's thick and none of the liquid ingredients that we're going to put in for the filling are going to seep through and make our crust all soggy. So once you have all of that in, just kind of swish it around. And then with clean hands, you're going to squish it in to the bottom and up to the sides if you want. I don't like the crust up on the side because it's harder for me to get off since I don't like the crust. So I just put it on the bottom of the pan. But if you or your family, whoever you're making it for, really likes the crust, you can make it thinner on the bottom and just kind of work its way up to the sides. Alright, now we have our crust in our springform pan. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on the filling. But first what we need to do is, while we're working on the filling, we're going to put our crust in the pan in the freezer until we have all of the ingredients for the filling ready to be put into the pan. This allows the crust time to harden and make sure that it's the perfect crust for our perfect cheesecake. Now we're ready to start working on our filling, the real best part of the cheesecake. We're going to need 1¼ cup of granulated sugar. We need to make sure we have a plenty big enough bowl because there's lots of ingredients for this part. We have our cream cheese. Now you're going to need 4 containers. They come in a little box of 8-ounce packets of cream cheese. You can get Philadelphia cream cheese. You can get, I got the Target brand because it was about 20 or 30 cents cheaper than the Philadelphia cream cheese. And it all tastes the same. We have 2 teaspoons of our vanilla extract. I have the not the real thing. It's just a fake vanilla extract, but it all tastes the same. And we have our half a cup of sour cream. And we put all of that in together. And this is probably the hardest part of making our whole cheesecake, is actually mixing all of this together. So once we have all of this together, I'm just going to go ahead and start mixing it together so it's a nice even consistency throughout. And now that we have everything kind of mixed together, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're not finished making our filling. But once it's just kind of not in those big blocks that the cream cheese comes in, then we're going to add our eggs. We need 5 eggs, and these are actually the best type of eggs. These are homegrown. My chickens lay these eggs, and they're the best eggs you can have. But if you don't have chickens or know somebody that has chickens, go to the store and get your eggs. But these are the best kind. You're going to need 5 large eggs, and we're going to crack them all, and we're going to whisk them together. Now to whisk an egg, you need a fork, not a spoon. That's the critical thing to whisking eggs. And you just want to kind of break them up, and you want to pull the eggs back and forth so that they're mixed together, the whites and the yolks both together. Once they're pretty even, they should kind of be a creamier color than the bright orange or yellow that they started out as. We're going to pour that in our filling that we already have kind of made up. And then we're going to go and whisk that some more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour all of the filling that I have mixed together with the eggs and everything else, and pour that into the crust that I've taken out of the freezer. After I take all of that and put it in the pan together, I'm going to put that in the oven in the water bath for 12 minutes at 475 degrees. And after it's been in there for 12 minutes, we'll come back and adjust the temperature and leave it in there a little bit longer so it can complete cooking. It's been 12 minutes now, so I'm going to adjust the temperature. I'm going to move it down to 350 degrees. That way it has a longer time to cook, and that just makes it the perfect cheesecake. And we're going to leave it in there for 45 to 60 minutes. It depends on your oven. My oven is a convection oven, so it cooks a lot faster. So just keep an eye on it. And you want to take it out once the top is a golden brown and once the house is full of that perfect cheesecake smell. So I'm taking my cheesecake out. It should have kind of a crackled look. That means that it's the perfect temperature inside and that it's completely cooked. I like mine to be completely done. It may look a little bit overdone on the top, but it's not. It's just my particular oven because it is a convection oven. The heat goes not only from the bottom of the oven but around and all the way to the top of it. So the top just gets a little bit crisper, but it's still the perfect cheesecake. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it cool. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator because a good cheesecake is always cold. And when we're ready to serve it in about 4 to 5 hours, I'm going to unhinge this so that we can cut it. But if you take it off right now, it'll pull the cheesecake apart because as it cools, it actually shrinks. So we're going to leave it just like this right now, put it in the refrigerator, and after that it'll be ready to eat, and we'll all enjoy an amazing cheesecake, and we can give it away to as many people as we want so that we can make their day awesome too. And I hope that you can have this perfect cheesecake and share it with everyone.